Jai Hind, everyone. Well, I can understand this is the first hour in the morning and the session has to be very joshful, but taking it forward, I would like to first of all thank the respected dignitaries, specifically Dr. Paneer Selvam sir, Vineet Goenka ji, who has just addressed and left from here, and also esteemed panelists, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege to be invited here today to share my views on cyber suraksha. And I would like to thank Velox for giving me this particular opportunity right in front of you. I have many points to be discussed and talked and also, taken forward by the industry leaders, those who are here. And out of which, naming top 5, I would list it as education system. Because this is one of the key areas where exactly we are unable to focus much. The students, those who are doing their B.Techs, computer science or cybersecurity, needs to be empowered with, the technology which is available in the market at this moment. And I want the industry leaders to come forward with their, educational program with, a non-biased, education factor which should be given to the students so that they can learn and get market ready for the future and then adopt your technology and support the system again. So definitely what you give comes back to you. It's like a boomerang. So end of the day, we need to support the education system. That's the first point. Second, need to make the students market ready. Why? Because until unless they are market ready, they will never be able to work. And this is one of the fates what I've seen in this world, that, after pursuing education, a student has to, go through a lot of struggle for at least 3 to 4 years to get even the first job. Even internships for that matter. And I again request the industry leaders to create some opportunities of internships and also job opportunities for the best of the best candidates and come forward and give them an opportunity to work in the culture where exactly they can compete with others. Then, Paneer Selvam sir, I would like to tell you that, startup ecosystem is definitely doing amazing at this moment. And you yourself mentioned that 35 to 40,000, startups have been, evolving around the technology and, they have been doing wonderful. But I also would like to tell you that after 3 to 4 years of support by MIT, at least 70% of the startups do die. Yes, sir, but what I see is lack of opportunities. And we in India are not futuristic adopting the technologies. We think about the current situations and we think about the past experiences. We carry the baggage from the past and we try to compete the technology to the current situations and we do not take it forward to the next 10 levels where exactly it has to be. We have to be future-centric, not exactly the current situation. We have to think about the future. That is when exactly we can develop, because by the time a startup starts, it needs to be accelerated for at least 3 to 4 years with the support of the ecosystem in India. I also say that when exactly the startups, try to bid for any kind of contracts with the government at this moment, I believe they lose always against the giants, those who are existing. But I have a solution to that. What I request the government is to create a culture where exactly at least 25% of the non-critical or the low-critical projects should be reserved for the startups only, so that they can at least showcase their skills, generate the revenue from there, and put it back into the system, develop it back and give it to the nation again to the next level. Rather than funding and pumping, the funds from the mighty every time, every single year, maybe 20 lakhs to 1 crore, whatever Paneer Selvam was telling. So in fact, you can take it to the next level, you can give the business to them indeed, and they can actually be reversed back and you can actually get that money back into your own system by pumping them and giving them the right projects wherever required. And once we take it to that particular level, they will be market ready and they will be able to compete with tier 2 and tier 3. I mean, it's at the top level, top two, organizations, and then they will be able to do wonderful. So definitely, Make in India can only be successful if in case they get the opportunity. When we see Indian startups along with the Western startups, we say that Western startups are doing really wonderful. Why? Because the Western friends do support an ecosystem where exactly they see the future, they pump the money, and they, in fact, take the Indian startups only, pump them up, generate the revenue, push them back into our own nation, and generate the revenue from here. Why not we generate the revenue here itself, keep it along with us? Why not we keep the technology with us? Let us support the ecosystem in this particular manner. Then I see that operational opportunities is one of the factors where exactly majority of organizations do lack. We have been adopting the technology. We have lots of technologies available, but where else? We do not have the capacity building factor. We do not utilize the product or the services up to 100 level extent anytime. We humans have a tendency to buy or adopt the new technology, but where else we use it only to an extent of 60 to 70%. So if in case we do capacity building, I think the cyber crimes, the cyber security factors, the vulnerabilities what we have into the systems can be mitigated, and we'll be able to do the best in the world. Then I've got to speak about threat intelligence. This is one of the factors where exactly majority of the organizations do not concentrate and focus. They only do focus upon SIEM or else EDR or XDR or, the basic, the factors of cybersecurity. Why not threat intelligence? I have a classic recent example which comes from the industry itself where exactly I was an investigator, one of the investigators, and investigated into some subject. You must have heard about JLR, the attack on Tata. JLR? How many of us know that? Right. What happened to that? We were ignoring threat intelligence factors from the past history. If you see, at the beginning of 2025, there was already an attack on Marks and Spencer's, which is, again, one of the entities by Tata, which has been controlled and taken care by Tata. So do understand the politics, do understand the geographical conditions, do understand the geopolitical situations at this moment, and try to gather the information from across the globe and work on the threat intelligence factor so that you gather bits and pieces of information, gather it together like a puzzle, make a big picture, and see what exactly is happening in the world. When we see why exactly the situations were so worse for JLR, the reason being, somehow the organizations lacked in third-party risk management policies and controls, from where exactly there were lateral movements being made. The attackers do penetrated into the systems, and later on, what exactly happened? There was a huge loss because all the plants of JLR were shut down for too long, maybe 17, 18 days. So it was a huge loss for an organization. Why did it happen? Again, just because they were not able to put the bits and pieces, they were not able to see that there can be state-sponsored attacks because India is growing. India was having a treaty with JLR to decrease the cost of the vehicles they have been providing in India, which was 120% taxes to almost 15 to 20% now. So there is a drastic change. So end of the day, these kind of informations were passed on by internal factors into the market that, such and such, basically contracts will definitely happen in future with some nation. So end of the day, there are other states, those who are ready in the market to gather the information and see how we can actually compete and how we can, discourage or create a problem for other entity and get their reputation down. So end of the day, this is one of the classic cases where exactly we ignored the threat intelligence. And I recommend all the organizations to have threat intelligence team in your operations basically always, so that you can increase, the cybersecurity factor. You can work on various subjects and, gather the piece of information what you have. Then we have information sharing. Even though if we are having the information, we are not sharing with other entities in the same subjective area or same, industry or into the same verticals. So please, I suggest if in case you guys have the information, do share it with your friends, do share it with your third parties, and work with them to actually, get out the best policies for your organization, which can mitigate the vulnerable areas. Then again, I have few other things to discuss right here regarding, operationalities. When it comes to the nation, we say that how we can support our nation. We do not need a uniform anytime. We are soldiers without uniform. Those who are working in the corporate world. To ensure the services 99.9% SLAs is what exactly is your patriotism. You do not have to show that, you are doing something for the nation only in the uniform. If in case we are able to give 99.9% service, that's the best you can actually do for the nation. And you can support the nation by paying the taxes indirectly, because end of the day, when you have the services, you have the money inside. And when you have the money, you are paying the taxes. So end of the day, you are a patriot. You do not have to prove yourself. So please ensure that, we work in this particular subjective areas. Third-party risk management is one of the critical areas every organization has to see, because we take services, be it SOC services, be it any other, web development or application development or any kind of services, API management or anything. We do it with the third parties. Definitely, we try to implement and utilize the tools from outside world. So we need to ensure that we review the policy every single time. We have the right situations. Basically, we have the smart contracts, customized contracts for each and every vendor. It should not be, cut, copy, and paste, where exactly, we are providing the same kind of solution and same kind of, MOU or NDAs to each and every party. Ensure that depending upon the criticalities, the third party should be treated, and their policies should be defined internally according to that, and customization should be done always, and it should be tailored and altered. Then I also have, one important, area which I need to speak about, which is nothing but, AI. At this moment, we have been struggling. Majority of the industry leaders have been struggling what to do, how AI modeling should be done, what exactly can be the best policy for our, organization or the industry. So now, even MIT has come up with a policy, basically a framework and rules and regulations for AI also. And I also tell you that we have some market-ready solutions, platforms, where exactly you just have to get your data, pump it in, and do the modeling according to your own self. You do not have to start working from 0 to 100. You can just start working from 50 to 100. You can focus on that subjective area. 0 to 50 is already been developed by a couple of leaders in the industry. You can use those services. You will save time, you will save money. And end of the day, make sure that whatever data you are sharing or you're putting into that particular system and generating the profits for yourself or generating the solutions for yourself, you can just keep a watch on them. And I always say that monitoring is always required. Assessments timely are very much required, and post-assessment learnings are very much required, and also share the information with everyone. This is all I have to say for the day. Thank you, and Jai Hind once again.